Hello and welcome to another benefit of the Doud Review. I am your host, Adam Doud, and joining me is co-host Cliff. Co-host Cliff, what is up?
I'm going to get myself like a little name tag that, well, that's not the one that's there somewhere on the screen. But there.
Right.
I'm going to get like a badge and it's going to have our logo on it. But yeah, co-host Cliff. Yeah, right there. Exactly.
It should say co-host Cliff. It doesn't say that. Yeah, that is a failing on our
Hi, I'm co-host Cliff. How can I help you?
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. But anyway.
Will you be having tonight's special?
What's the soup of the day?
It's the Keychron B6 Ultra Slim wireless keyboard. It's delicious from what I hear.
No,
I'll have the swordfish.
As Cliff alluded to, today we are reviewing, and as the title of the video that you clicked on, and probably the thumbnail and everything else also says, we are reviewing the Keychron B6 Pro keyboard, which is a keyboard that Cliff sent my way because he likes to send me things.
I do.
And he thought that this would be a good thing for me to do. And you know what? As it turns out, I like it. So that's the review. Everybody have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Bye, everyone. Have a beautiful time.
No, I'm just kidding. So, here's what we do on reviews here. We bring up our old pal Skippy. So, Mr. Skippy, the review cam, let's show off Mr. Keyboard then, shall we?
Ooh.
As it turns out, the keyboard's a little bit wider than Skippy can accommodate, but that's okay. So yeah, this is the Keychron B6 Pro keyboard. Keychron, Cliff, why don't you tell folks a little bit about Keychron, because there's some vital data you should probably know.
Well, if you haven't heard of Keychron, I kind of feel like they're the reviewer's darling for people that are looking for a mechanical keyboard, especially one that isn't necessarily oriented towards gaming. Not to say that you couldn't use their keyboards for that, but a lot of the ones that you see reviewed out there on the interwebs are typically more for people that want something on their desk when they're not using when their laptop is hooked up to to like a dock or something like that, so they're a little they're not your giant 11-pound solid metal frame with the buckling switches or something like that. But this particular keyboard is a departure for them, because to my knowledge, everything that they've produced before has either been a mechanical switch or a low profile mechanical switch keyboard. So yeah, this is their first I guess you'd call it like scissor switch style keyboard, at least that I've seen here in the US. And it's I would say that this keyboard is definitely marketed towards somebody who might consider a premium scissor switch style keyboard like the Logitech MX keys. In fact, if you look at this and then you see the MX keys that Adam's about to bring up here, there's a lot of similarity in the design.
There is. The Keychron is actually a slimmer profile than the Logitech. You can see this is the Logitech keyboard. We've got this big kind of like bumper in the back. I'm trying to angle it properly. There we go. Like this kind of big bumper in the back to tilt it up, which I'll be honest with you, I kind of like this a little bit. I like the angle of the keyboard a little bit better than I do. But I mean, they have the same circular depressions in each of the keys. The pitch is about the same. The travel is about the same. The layout is very similar. So yeah, there's a lot to be said between these two keyboards. I think the Logitech has just a little bit more of a premium feel just overall. This kind of feels a little bit more plasticky than this one, but overall, you are getting 95% of this for about 45% of the price.
Right,
honestly.
Exactly. It's in Keychron typically offers not only a lot of value for your money, but also they tend to offer really good build quality and good software support. They're not a fly by night company,
Mm-hmm.
not some
Mm-hmm.
rebadged ODM keyboard that you can find in like 5 different brand names on Amazon. Not, I mean, those have their
Right.
place too, but I guess I've been on this sort of a quest to find you the perfect keyboard. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm like maybe slightly obsessed with it. But maybe this is the closest the closest I've come. We did review that Lenovo keyboard that was the split ergonomic style that wasn't I mean, why you like the keyboard, maybe not to your liking as far as what you daily. Um
Right.
this comes
Right.
close to like what checks all the boxes for you. And
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it does have, and like while Cliff was mentioning talking about the background of Keychron, I was kind of holding it up here to show you like how
yeah.
slim the profile here is. Across the back, I can show you here. We have a switch which allows you to switch. Oh, first of all, power switch. This allows you to switch in between Bluetooth, cable connection, or the 2.4 gigahertz dongle. And then this is the USB-C connection where you can use to both charge the keyboard and to connect it to your computer if you prefer using a wired connection. I have
And I
a
guess also to charge it,
USB.
right?
I'm sorry.
And also to charge it, right?
Oh yeah, I said that. I said
Oh,
that.
okay. I'm sorry.
But so I just have a regular Anchor like uh, USB cable that I use. Actually, I use this. I use this cable for both connecting the keyboard physically when I need to, but also for like connecting phones to my computer to pull photos off
Gotcha.
of them and stuff like that. So this is kind of like my universal. So when I plug in the keyboard and I have to kind of like have the keyboard off to the side here, that's why it's just a length issue. Um, but
Gotcha.
so if I switch it over to the cable input, then what I can do is I can show you the software that comes with, or that you use with the keyboard. This is actually web-based software, which I thought was really
Oh, I
interesting.
didn't know that, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. So this is the launcher that you can use. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up here. I just hit connect, and then I think it's this guy. And then, so this is the customization
Huh.
software. This is all web based. You can see in the address box here, the launcher.keychron.com. And so you can use this to set up your key map, to set up any macros that you want to use. Now, before we go any further, I should mention I'm not a huge customization guy when it comes to a keyboard. I don't generally change the functions of keys. I kind of just, it's probably because I'm a little bit lazy, probably because I don't want to micromanage things, but also just because as a reviewer, it's important for me to use things as they come out of the box because a lot of people aren't going to take the time to use this. But anyway, so when you don't see a lot of macros in here, that's why. So I'm also not a gamer, but you can also do firmware updates. You can do this is a key test just so you can like, you know, test out and make sure that the keys are working the way they should. And then there's a bug report section down here where you can just submit a bug report if you happen to find one. I think most people are going to be interested in the key map and then the macros. So the key map, you can do basically anything you want it to do here. So I
And it
mean,
and it looks like
you've
3
got
different
basic,
4 different profiles, right? That you can
uh,
save to up
yeah,
there on the
yeah.
top?
So there's and so like if you wanted to switch in between like a Macintosh and a Windows machine, you can do that. But yeah, so basically you've got basic keys down here, you've got media, you've got macros. So you can go to the macro section and program your macro, and then you can go to the key map and then map that macro to a specific key. There's some special keys here. Have you ever used an F24 key? I personally
I
never
have
have.
not.
So that's interesting. But you can also, I thought this was kind of cool. You can configure mouse buttons and like mouse
Huh.
directions on your keyboard. So like if you, I guess if you were playing like a game or something and you wanted to like click to, you could just like spam the plus key or something to like shoot or whatever. So I
You
thought
can
that was kind of
tell
cool.
you can tell we're hardcore gamers here
Oh
at
yeah,
the benefit of the
hardcore,
doubt.
like all the time. Big gamer guys. And then they have, I don't know what this layer thing is. I didn't really play with that all that much. But you've got various custom keys here. And let me tell you a funny story about this. The custom keys. You can see we've got the desktop L and the desktop R. So that is mapped to, let me go ahead and turn this off for just a moment. No, that's the wrong button. Let's do this one. So those functions are mapped to these two buttons here. So that's the desktop left. You know how a Windows machine can have different desktops.
Right.
So
Mhm.
like, if I push this, hopefully I'm still broadcasting with you. Can you say something? Because I can't see it
Yes, I
anymore.
can still hear you.
Okay. So like, and this will allow me to switch in between 3 different desktops. Now, for the first couple of weeks, I did not realize that these 2 keys were mapped to this. So,
I can see where
I
this
don't
is going.
know. Right. I don't know if you can see it, but when I hit the button to move over to my next desktop over, the only thing that's open on that desktop is an Edge window that says switch desktops Windows 11.
You're like, where did it all go?
Because I didn't know, because I knew what was happening. I
Right.
don't know
But
how to
why?
I didn't know how to switch. Like I didn't know what the key command was to switch, and I didn't realize that these 2 keys, and I couldn't figure out why it kept switching over to a different desktop all the time until I realized that I was just bumping this button.
Right.
Now, having said all that, now that I have these 2 buttons and I know what they do, I'm debating whether or not I should actually start using a second desktop for like maybe like a podcast configuration or
Yeah.
like a writing configuration or something like that. I've got 3 to play with. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe I should start like doing that. But
And we
I don't
should
know.
mention
That's a different
that
conversation.
you didn't have to install any drivers for this, right? Like it's just acting
Oh
as
no.
an H, right?
This is all plug and play. And
Which is great.
even the launcher, even the Keychron, that's all web based. So you don't
I
have to
think that
install
is
any
brilliant.
software for this at all.
I think that's brilliant. Like I wish more companies would do that. It
It is brilliant, but it does come with a limitation.
sure.
It
Yeah.
the launcher software that I was just showing you only works when you have the keyboard connected to the computer with a wire.
Right.
So it doesn't work on Bluetooth and it doesn't work with the transmitter, which is kind of weird because when you hit the connect button, there is a Keychron receiver option,
Mhm.
which you might have seen when I first pulled it up. But when I try to connect, it gives me an error message that says no valid HID device configuration found.
Hmm.
And when I did some Googling, I found out that the Keychron thing only works when you plug it in for some reason. I don't know why, but
Well, I would say though that based on what I saw on this the what you can do with the launcher, it's really just doing all the pre-programming stuff for macros,
mm-hmm.
firmware updates, that kind of thing. So it wouldn't be the kind of thing where you really need it connected all the time because it's going to save it to the
Right.
firmware in your keyboard so that all that once it's done, it's all in your keyboard. So
Yeah,
now that I understand that it's not such a big deal, but that
it's
is so
really not.
nice.
But yeah.
Because you can literally just plug this into your, your new computer, and it's automatically it's still gonna have everything, in memory if you're going from like one
Mm-hmm.
Windows computer to another, or if you use this to switch between a Mac and a PC, all you have to do is just flip that little switch on the back to remap the buttons, or you can, I guess, use the profiles.
Right.
So
Right.
there's a
And
lot to be said
also
for that.
it also should be mentioned that this is compatible with Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever. The
Right.
buttons are generic. I can show you like down here, we have an option or a win button, a command and an alt button,
Mhm, mhm.
so it's that tip of, if you've used a lot of like generic third-party keyboards, you're pretty used to that. The one thing, and this is just a general commentary on keyboards in general, is I've got the media controls across the top here,
Right.
but they serve as function keys unless I'm holding down the function and then. But I have other keyboards where it looks exactly like this on the key, where it has like the
Are you going to
function,
say
the
that
F
it's
key and the button.
reversed where you have to do the
But it's
function?
reversed, where you
Yeah.
don't push the
Hmm.
function. I wish that there could be like a consistent, like I wish Microsoft and Apple could just get together and say, okay, guys, this is how it's going to be from now on.
Yeah.
But you know what they say, when there's too many standards, somebody builds a standard to combine all the standards, and then there's, all those standards plus one. But anyway, so this is one where you have to hold down the function key. Now, that being said, I could probably use the Keychron launcher to reconfigure that so
Yeah.
that all the
Right.
media, but I don't want to mess with that, so I'm just not going to. Um,
We should also
by the way,
mention that I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the other two keys up here, by the way, are your, I don't know what they call that, but your ability to see like all your windows all at once,
Oh,
like the cascade. I
yeah.
guess you can. This button
Depends on which
here
OS
shows
you're
you a
using.
cascade
Yeah.
of all your different windows, and then this just opens a calculator, which is actually really handy.
Yeah.
So I definitely dig that.
I was going to
But
say,
anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just going to say that we should mention that there is a B1 Pro, which is the same keyboard minus, I mean, it's basically a TKL, but they call it a 10 keyless TKL or 75% layout
You want to
option.
see that keyboard? Here you go.
But
now,
yeah,
now
literally,
that's
that's
what the
what it
keyboard
is.
is basically.
So if you don't, if you, you find yourself, as someone who doesn't use the full, a full size layout with the number pad and all that kind of stuff, that option is there for you. There's only a $5 difference in the price. We should mention this is also for the full size one we're using here, the B6 Pro. It's $44.99.
How much would you say that was? No, I'm just kidding. Going back to the QVC thing that we mentioned in a different episode, but yeah, it's $45 for this keyboard, which is just a little ridiculous. Honestly.
It is.
Like it's too good a deal for that. And like I said, you're getting 80% of what you get in a Logitech keyboard, but at half the cost. That's like a little silly. The only downside is I kind of wish that there was a way to tilt this up a little bit more. Because as it is, it's very flat. It does lean towards me just a touch. I want to say that is it 14 millimeters here and like 5 millimeters on the front here. So there is a little bit of a slope to it, but
Yeah,
when
it's
you compare it, there's no feet that you can flip out.
that's what
I
I was
would
gonna
like
say.
that,
Yeah.
or something, something that would allow me something other than just like shoving my iPhone underneath the keyboard.
Putting
That
some
would be
pennies underneath it.
right. Exactly.
So one thing that we should mention is that and you don't have this anymore, but it does come with, which I thought was kind of interesting. I don't know that it's something I would ever use. Um, Before I mention what I'm talking about, I should say that this also comes in like an off-white colorway. If that's
Ivory is
yeah,
the name of it. Yeah.
it's like somewhere in between white and cream. It's kind of just like eggshell, maybe. I don't know. But
Yeah.
so there is that. If you want it, I was telling Adam that I personally don't like lighter colored keyboards, even though I like the aesthetic of it, because if you've ever used like
Right.
an old school, like real much older Apple keyboard that came in that white, the keys
Right.
just show finger grease and dirt, and it's very hard to get it off.
I can see that.
So where
But
this
anyway,
is leading to is the fact that what you're showing here, the protective silicone skin that comes in the box.
right. And that is exactly what it sounds like. It's a very thin silicone that lays over the keyboard. It gives the keys a little bit more of a bouncy effect, which I kind of like. It's also a little bit softer, and it's very thin silicone. Like it's super thin, thin enough that it got destroyed. And I don't know how. It might have been a dog, it might have been a kid. I wasn't actively using it. I did try to use it for a couple of days. I ultimately decided that I didn't necessarily like the feel. It wasn't that it was bad. It was just a little bit different. And it kind
Gotcha.
of felt, yeah, it didn't feel quite right. So for me, Maybe it'll feel better for you, but then so like I had it off to the side, and then like the one day I came downstairs and it was on the floor and it was in like 5 different big pieces, and I'm like, oh well, what the hell.
That sounds like a
Um,
dog. Maybe it got knocked
yeah,
onto the floor. The dog was like, "Oh, a new squishy toy."
or it might have gotten knocked on the floor and I might have rolled over it with my chair. I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I have no idea what happened to it. It should be mentioned that when I got it, before I did actually like before I looked into it, like I didn't know if that silicone skin was just something that was there to like ship it and like keep it nice, kind of
Right,
like the plastic
right.
covering you get on like phone cases and stuff. So I wasn't 100% positive if that's what it was for, but then I was just like, yeah, okay, that's
Oh, so
kind of
so when you
interesting. I used it for a couple of days,
when you
but
took it out of the box, then it was on it?
yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay. That makes sense for shipping it.
yeah,
Instead of folding
exactly,
it up and getting a crease in it. Yeah, that makes sense.
exactly.
Um,
Um,
I was
but
gonna
yeah,
ask you because this is one of the things with that can make or break someone purchasing the keyboard. And that's I'll talk about the MX keys first because I have that MX keys keyboard that you have as well. And one of the things that's great about it, I mean, the battery life on it is ridiculous.
yeah.
How is
Um,
this in comparison?
I have not had to charge
Okay.
it yet.
Okay.
Um, but I mean, when it's plugged into the computer, it's probably also charging, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And I did use it wired for a couple of days, so like that might have inadvertently topped it off and kind of like
Mm.
skewed my battery results. Um, According to Keychron, you're supposed to get 1,200 hours of battery life.
Good
So
grief.
like what is 1,200 hours? Is that like that'd be like 100 half days,
It's a
and like
lot.
100 days is over 3 months.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
you're
really good.
probably looking at, maybe once every 6 months,
Right.
maybe plug it in. Like it doesn't yeah, it seems like it's supposed to last forever.
And I
The other thing that I like about it with the 2.4 gigahertz receiver is when my computer powers down, like when it goes into sleep mode, this will wake it up. A Bluetooth keyboard won't wake it
right.
up.
Yeah.
So that's nice. Like you can just hit some keys on the keyboard and that'll wake the computer up because of that receiver. But when I have it in Bluetooth mode, that obviously doesn't work. In fact, when I was testing another Bluetooth keyboard during the time that I was testing this one, I actually had this one like propped up to the side so I could hit a couple of keys on there to wake up the computer and then sit down and work on the Bluetooth keyboard.
And we should mention
Um,
that 2.4 gigahertz dongle adapter, whatever you want to
it's
come.
in the box.
Well, I was gonna say it's USB-C, but then it comes with a USB-C to USB-A adapter that you can just snick onto it as
Yeah,
well. Hmm.
yeah,
I mean, it's a
which
small
is
thing,
nice.
but you don't know
Yeah.
what you're gonna be using it with.
Well,
So,
and especially I'm still using that Legion Tower that we did a
mhm.
review on, and this Legion Tower has no USB-C, or maybe it has one. I
Yeah,
think it has
in some
one
inconvenient
USB-C port.
place.
So yeah, so it's very convenient that it has USB-A. But yeah, overall, this is a really solid keyboard. I think it will be my daily keyboard for until Cliff sends me a different one, I guess. But yeah, so I've been using it. I've written tens of thousands of words on it, and done editing on it and everything. So yeah, it's some of the other nice, aside from the media controls, is there's a settings button which launches you straight into Windows settings, which is nice. Like I said, the calculator is nice. I might actually start using desktops now that I know what they are, or now that I have an easy way to switch between them. I haven't decided on that. One thing I thought was kind of weird is I turned off Skippy, so let me turn Skippy back on. Is the keyboard, the backslash key? If you hold down the function key, it takes a screenshot, but there's also a print screen button, which is also mapped to do a screenshot. I thought that was a weird choice. Like, I thought it was kind of
Yeah,
weird that they put in an extra function key for a screenshot when they already have a key for
in case you
screenshots.
in case you
Um,
don't want to move your finger that extra half inch.
right. Yeah, I guess. Or in case you absolutely positively want to
Well,
push function in order to grab a screenshot.
but if you think about
Um,
and that is that maybe just a Windows shortcut? Or is that
I
something
don't,
spec
I
because
don't know. Maybe.
because to take a screenshot with a Mac, it's a whole different series of key commands. So maybe that's built into the keyboards because print screen doesn't work on a Mac when you're
Maybe it's
using
to
the
make it
keyboard.
easier for Macs. That could be. That's a solid thought. But I just thought that was kind of a weird choice. But
Yeah, that is
then
weird.
yeah. But yeah, and I would say if you're probably using this with a Mac, you probably want to go Ivory, just because
Yeah.
Ivory is kind of Apple's thing. This would honestly kind of look out of place in front of a Mac, an iMac or something, I would think.
In front of an if you're
Um,
using like a space gray like MacBook Pro, it wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I can see that. But in general, I dig it. It's this very solid keyboard. Great price. You cannot complain.
Yeah,
You can't
yeah.
complain about the price at all. And it just feels like it has a very premium feel to it. Like I said, it's a little bit more plasticky, I think, than the Logitech.
And
But other than that, no
and it
complaints.
but
I
it
dig
does
it.
have an aluminum chassis, right? Like the materials, at least on the sides, are aluminum.
Possibly. I don't know.
Well, it's not plastic, right?
It kind of feels like the same
Oh,
as the
maybe
rest, to be honest.
because I know the
wouldn't
MX
be
keys is aluminum. That's why I ask.
Yeah, that could. I mean, yeah, that sounds right.
I should
But
have brought that up
yeah,
before we were about to close out, but I was one of those things I was thinking about. If it's
that's
not
fine.
for $44.99,
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah, honestly, if it's plastic, it's fine.
Yeah.
I just want to scan here real quick just to see if there's anything about the build. Yeah, not seeing anything, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably plastic, but I
Okay.
could be very wrong on that. Body material ABS. So yeah,
Okay.
it's
The
plastic.
ABS plastic. Okay.
Yep. So yeah, no complaints there. It still feels premium in my book,
Right.
but it's not quite as premium as a Logitech MX keys type.
But then you can just buy 2 of these, and then you can have one for if you have multiple computers, and maybe
Or
that's better.
you can buy 2 of these, and if you're doing like a live stream and you're about to cross 100,000 subscribers, you can be like, yeah, and then just bash it, and then you can just pull out the other one. You're good to go.
If you're a musician and you like smashing keyboards instead of guitars, this is the keyboard for you.
Exactly. Then this is the keyboard. I don't even know why you'd consider a different keyboard if you're a musician that likes to smash keyboards. I don't even know why you'd even think about it.
This was not the ending I thought we'd end up
Nope.
at.
Sure wasn't. But you know what is the ending that we thought it would be?
It's the ending you deserve.
Right here. Oh, hi there. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, then you obviously liked what you saw. So why not take it a few small steps further? How about you drop a thumbs up on this video and maybe hit that subscribe button?
And while you're there, move that pointer over a few pixels and click the bell. All of that will ensure that we get noticed on the YouTubes, and we can make more of these videos just for you.
And if you want to go even a little bit further, you can head over to patreon.com/benefitofthedoud and sign up for as little as just $2 per month. And for that, you'll get early access to our videos and some bonus content that we don't show on the main channel.
Plus, we're cooking up new perks and benefits all the time. So go to patreon.com/benefitofthedoud and sign up today.
That's patreon.com/benefitofthedoud. And as always, we thank you for watching and for giving us the benefit of the Doud.